How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have another great interviewee with us today. She can say her name, what she does, and all that jazz.
I'm Richitta. I am a singer, a songwriter, and I also rap as well.
There we go. Well, Rashida, it's a pleasure having you on. I know we had a little bit of miscommunications in terms of the email, but again, glad to have you on the show. But I usually ask this to everybody that I have on the channel. How did you kind of start out doing music? Was this something that like you've always wanted to do, and then finally found an opportunity to like write your own music and release it, or like has it like is your family like very musical and you're just kind of like it was kind of like bound to happen pretty much.
So for me, I wanted to sing since I was 5. And when I graduated college, my parents supported me. They said, okay, now that you've done what we asked, we'll support you. So I put out my first EP, and that was not, I wasn't the happiest about it.
Sure.
But this time around, now that I'm older, I can say more of the things the way I want to say them. As before, I couldn't do that as much.
And how old were you when you first did your like first EP? Like when in comparison to like obviously shout outs to Erica, she had sent me an email about your music. How long of a time period was that from like the first EP to now? Like and obviously you were talking about growth and being older and being more mature and talking about more mature topics. So how long of a gap was that between like writing time?
So 2014, and then I just released my new song "Quit Playing"
Mm-hmm.
this year, so 2020. So it was a bit of a break.
Yeah, and do you have like anything coming up in the pipelines? Like obviously, the song was awesome. Like this, I will say personally, like I am unfamiliar with this sort of stuff, like in terms of your style of music, and it's always fun for me to have different people on to kind of experience, like a different musical style and like, different, influences and stuff like that. So, how has the reception of the song been on your end to like your fans, like people checking out your music, maybe other interviewers that you've done interviews with prior to this, like how has the reception been, at least on your end?
The reception has been really well. A lot of people have been telling me they really like it. A lot of women have been telling me they identify with it, which is
Sure.
really honestly where I wrote it from. I wanted other women to get like, you're not the only one going through relationship problems. So I was glad that other women connected with it.
And do you feel like musically and like maybe lyrically, do you have like new music? Obviously, you probably have new music coming down the pipeline.
Mhm.
Like what are some of the topics you might be discussing or talking about, like in upcoming either singles or like maybe an EP or like an LP release?
So some of the music that I've been working on, it's a couple of songs that I'm trying to decide which one I want to go with.
Sure.
But some of the topics are just establishing yourself as a woman and letting a man know that you cannot, again, not play with my feelings. Like
Yeah.
you need to come at me respectfully. You need to come with good intentions. So that's kind of some of the content. And then I have other ones that are like about heartbreak. So and then I get in my mood where I'm like, I don't need you, and I do better. So I feel like it kind of flip flops depending on my mood.
And have you had the opportunity to like write a lot more? Obviously, I feel like a lot of musicians now are in quarantine. So, have you taken the opportunity to like kind of like hone in on songs that you were, I guess, maybe like you're like, oh, I'm gonna work on that one. Like maybe I just need a little bit more time with it. Do you feel like now, with everything kind of slowing down a little bit more, so like, do you feel like you have more time to like really like hone your craft and write something like kind of expound upon some of the ideas that you might have that you maybe kind of put a little bit aside?
It's interesting for me because I'm an independent artist. And when I first started, my parents were more so supporting me. But me breaking off and kind of doing what I want and saying what I want and running things the way I want means that I'm funding it as well. So
Sure.
for me, I also have to have a full time job, and I'm considered an essential worker. So I didn't really get the chance to go into quarantine, unfortunately. But with me, the way I write, anyways, I try to write organically. If it doesn't flow for me, I don't try to push the song. So, like Ali, maybe I would have wrote a song a year ago and didn't finish it. Like I could be walking around the house today, and then I'll be like, "Oh, the lyrics came," and I'll hurry up and write. So that's sort of like how I write. I won't force it. If the whole song comes out, fine. But if it doesn't, I'll come back to it.
That's good. Well, I'm glad you're not forcing any ideas. I felt like the rhythm and how you wrote on, Quit Playing. I felt like I was like, wow, this is really interesting for me because like my background's more like, heavier music and stuff like that. So to kind of delve into like more like pop, like hip hop sort of stuff, like it was interesting for me from a different perspective to kind of like, understand it, and it gave me a little bit more time to listen to it and like, like really dissect it a little bit more. And I thought for myself, like not knowing too much about it, I thought, the lyricism was really well done. Like whoever did your music video did a great job of kind of like conveying that sort of message. And I felt like a lot of the musical cues really hit with like a lot of the music video cues as well. So, how was that experience like creating a music video? Was that pre-quarantine or something like that?
So it was still during quarantine.
Okay,
But I had an original schedule for the video. It's kind of crazy, it got pushed back because of the quarantine.
sure.
And then I got the okay, you guys can go ahead and do it. So it was very nerve-wracking because it was my first video and I was doing it myself. Like I came up with the treatment for it and how I wanted it to go. And I wanted it to go from color to black and white to show to show, the change in the mood and
Sure.
everything. So everything that I conveyed to the director Alex, he really brought it to life and I couldn't have been like happier with it.
Yeah, I feel like he did a great job. Alex, if you watch this, did a great job. But I felt like the musical aspect of it and also like the lyrical aspects really hit well with the video. And I feel like as somebody who does videography and stuff like that, like I felt like the cues are really on point. So I had to give a shouts to Alex. But Richitta, to kind of delve into some of the other questions, I hinted at it a little bit earlier, but like, who are you influenced by? Like earlier on, like when you're growing up, obviously you said you have been singing since like 5 or wanted to sing since 5. So like, who early on inspired you to get into music, and then who kind of inspires you more currently? In terms of writing, like maybe singing, lyricism, stuff like that.
So when I first started singing, at 5, I didn't really have any inspiration. So it was really just like someone picked me to sing at my graduation, and then I discovered my love for it. And then so after that, when I kind of got acclimated to music, it would be Aaliyah and Brandy. Those were my two top inspirations. And now I just get inspired by all types of people. I love Tiffany Evans. She's pretty awesome. I love who else? Tony
Oh,
Braxton. Yeah, so she's a good one. And I love a lot of country songs as well, country singers. So yeah, a variety of music.
that's awesome. Well, I would have never expected country. Like, if I had to listen to your song, I would have been like, I don't think I would have never thought like, country. Like, I maybe like kind of like the more like love song. Like, I felt like maybe that might be appropriate, but if you told me that. I would have probably never believed you. I don't even kind of believe you now, even though I know you told me. But I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Well, glad to hear your musical horizons are expanded. But to kind of piggyback off this question, who are you listening to currently? Obviously, like you said, you're an essential worker, so imagine you have some downtime to listen to some music. So, who are you putting on recently? Who are you listening to?
So right now, the like last night I was listening to Wale. I really like
Oh,
Wale.
nice.
He I feel like he's very thought provoking, and I like music that makes me think. I like that. And I mentioned Tiffany Evans, but that's because I listen to her all the time. I really love her as an artist. And Jasmine Sullivan, because she put out a new song. I love her. So and then I love I love the record Tequila by I think it's Dan and Shane.
I
I
think you're
love
right. Yeah.
them. So that's a few of people I'm listening to.
There we go. Well, again, the Dan and Shay kind of throws me, but I feel like now, listening now, trying to like think about your song, I'm like, you know what? I'm sort of getting it. I'm getting the vibes of little bits of Dan and Shay. So now I know why. Now I know why you're kind of on that. Do you feel like in maybe future tense you might have like some, would you ever be interested in having like maybe like a country singer on a track, like as a feature or something like that?
Definitely, I would not be close to that. Like when it comes to my music taste, I'm pretty eclectic. I love like jazz. I listen to a lot of jazz. So I'm pretty open.
Yeah.
When
Do you feel like maybe do you have any genres that you'd like to kind of, obviously, like you said, you talked about jazz, you talked about country, is there any other kind of genres that you'd want to like expound upon, maybe in like future songs or something like that? Like, I don't know how, in terms of like, who you work with producer wise, but do you feel like you would want to experiment more and try to bring in like some different elements into your music that would I felt like like I said, the song, I felt like it had this really kind of great like pop energy to it. So do you feel like maybe something with like a little bit more like jazz vibes you would like to be down with and try to bring that into your music?
I wouldn't mind it at all, like to explore different sounds. My producer, his name is Darius, the one that I mainly work with. Um, he actually brought up house music to me. He was like, just
Ooh.
think about it. So I'm still kind of marinating on it, but he does try to encourage me to try out different and new sounds. So
That's awesome. Well, Darius, shout outs to you, man. Did a great job on the track. And I hope that you guys kind of expound upon new sounds, because it'd be very cool to hear kind of like your take on like some jazz oriented stuff. Obviously, not like really intense, but I feel like in a
right,
way that would make sense to you, like your music and stuff.
yeah.
But obviously, we're gonna move into some fun questions, Richitta. If there was a song you would be interested in covering, what would it be?
Ooh, a song that I was interested in covering. Okay. I probably will want to cover, I don't know if it's specifically what song, but like a country song, honestly. I
Ooh,
would really love to cover a country song.
interesting. So maybe, obviously, you
Maybe
mentioned Dan and Shay, so maybe a Dan and Shay song.
maybe a Dan and Shay song, or like I know this like a Tennessee whiskey or something, like something really cool like that.
Ooh,
That
okay.
has like some a lot of country songs. What I love about it is just like the soul they put behind it. Like you really feel it. Whatever they're singing, you feel it.
Well, hopefully, people that are watching this interview sound off in the comments what you feel like Rashida should cover. I might be in the Dan and Shay club. I feel like she would do a great job at a Dan and Shay cover. But let your thoughts be known down below. I'm sure she'll check them out and maybe she'll get some ideas.
Yeah, and it's funny. I actually sung. Sometimes I'll post little covers on my like acoustic with no background music or
Hmm.
anything on my Instagram. And I did their song Tequila because I was really in love with it. So I did do it. I'll have to post it again so people can see it.
There you go. Well, if you have the video, I'll make sure to throw a little clip in the edit. But the next question, Rashida, another fun one. Favorite food to eat? What's the go-to?
Spaghetti. I love spaghetti. I
Ooh,
can get
spaghetti. Okay. You're you're talking about just like a classic spaghetti, tomato sauce, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, just tomatoes and like tomato sauce and noodles. No meat unless I have like meatless crumbles or something.
Ooh,
But
there you go. Sounds like a delicious meal. I would be all about that. The next question, Rashida, obviously I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier as well. Who would be somebody you'd want to like dream collaborate with? Anything's kind of on the board here. Like if there was somebody you would want to step in the studio with and work with, whether it be like kind of a guest feature on an upcoming release or producer you'd like to work with. Obviously, no shots at Darius. I feel like he does a great job. But like if there was just kind of like somebody in your head that you were like, man, it would be awesome to work with them.
so as far as getting on a song, I would have to say Brandy. Like I love Brandy. I think I'm not a person that fans out if I see somebody. But like with Brandy, the tears will come down.
That's
I'll
fair.
have to ugly cry. Like
I feel like I would. I feel like I would. Like I'm not like I know like that type of music, but I feel like if I met Brandy, that would just be like I'd be like I don't even know your music that well, and I would be getting like oh my god, it's Brandy. That'd be very cool. Well, Brandy, if you're on Twitter, we're gonna at you on Twitter. I don't know the likelihood of it happening, but listen, we're in 2020, trying to make those dreams happen. So maybe we'll see a Brandy Richitta track. Who knows in this upcoming future.
put it
So
out into the universe.
there you go. That's it. Exactly. Next question, Rashida. You mentioned that you play, I would assume acoustic guitar. But if there was another musical instrument you could master, what would you want that instrument to be?
So I don't play acoustic guitar, but
Oh,
I
okay.
am trying to learn is the piano. So
Ooh.
I'm trying to teach myself. So I don't know a lot of songs. I know I'm trying to play like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Everybody, you got to start somewhere though.
Hey, yeah, exactly. Well, hopefully, best of luck. Next time we're gonna see you're gonna be like, Mozart on the keys. So that's what.
Yeah,
So, best of luck to you. Well, you'll have to check back on this video, and you'll have to let us know your piano progress.
definitely.
Next question, Rashida. Obviously, there's a lot of musical genres and bands and artists that you tap into, but what would be one band or artist that you feel like most people, like even your friends and family, uh, would assume that you don't listen to? Like you'd be like, you would kind of shock them if you were like, oh, I listen to this person, and then it would be like, oh my god, I couldn't even believe it. It was like basically me like saying like, I can't believe you listen to country music. Like what's one artist that you feel like your fans would be like, I didn't know she listened to that person. That's awesome.
So I listen to a lot of older music, and so one of my favorite artists is Nat King Cole. Like I really love
Ooh,
Cole. Yeah.
he's a
So people,
classic.
yeah, I know people probably wouldn't expect when you hear me and my music and some of the my favorite artists, we're completely different.
Hey, listen, everybody has to. I mean, he's got such. I mean, he had such a great voice. So I feel like that's. I feel like
Yes.
that's not like uncommon, but if you asked me that, I probably would have been like, I would have never guessed that. Just like the Dan and Shay thing. So I'm glad we're really letting it loose tonight. Uh, but the next question, Rashida, another fun one. If you were to compile a dream tour lineup, who would be on it?
Ooh, a dream tour lineup. Okay. Obviously Brandy. She has to be on there. Jasmine Sullivan.
Ooh,
She would
okay.
have to be on there. Tiffany Evans. She would have to be on there. Um, and then let's see. Probably Tony Braxton. Yeah.
Ooh, Tony Braxton. There you go. That
Yeah,
sounds
all
like
of,
a killer lineup.
yeah, I love all their voices. They each bring something different. So
And I feel like that's such an eclectic list of like great female artists. So I mean, I wouldn't even be familiar with any of the music, but I feel like I would go just for the experience of like being in like the presence of such accomplished great female singers.
yeah.
So totally about that, guys. You can purchase tickets for this awesome tour in 2024 because we know 2020 is canceled this year, but 2024, I feel like that gives Richitta enough time to really put in the work. So um,
Yes.
shout outs to doing that. Let's make it happen. Again, putting it out in the universe uh, for everybody to check out. But next question, Richitta. Obviously, to tail off on the whole Dream Tour, in your opinion, who puts on a great live performance in terms of the artists you've seen?
So I would have to say it's a couple of people that I really enjoyed. In Vogue, I went to see them and they are amazing. Just the consistency throughout the years. I thought, sometimes you think, oh, it won't be the same. It's like it's better. Like it's amazing. They were amazing. And then of course Toni Braxton, she just had me in awe. It's just like that voice that you hear on the record is the voice that you hear on the stage. It's amazing.
I feel like whenever you get an artist that just is like that, I feel like if you can find an artist or you see an artist that like sounds better live than they do on the record, that's like, to me, that like sells. Like even if I've never seen the artist before, like if I like was just at a concert and I was like, oh, I like know like the second band on the tour or whatever, and their skills were just like so good that I was like, I've never even heard of this band, but like now I need to, now I need to be a fan and follow them. I feel like Toni Braxton or Brandy or any of the vocalists that you had mentioned prior, like, I feel like those are the type of artists that you're just like, wow, like I can't believe it.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
next question, Richitta, another fun one. Favorite TV show, favorite movie.
Ooh, favorite TV show. Moesha. If people can't tell, I'm like Brandy is my idol. So and I still watch that. I still watch reruns on Netflix now. So I
There you
love
go.
that. And movie, my favorite movie will have to be House Party.
Ooh, okay, okay. There we go. There we go. Next question, Rashida. If you were trapped on a desert island for the next month and there was one album you could bring with you, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one.
Thank
One
you.
album bring. Um, I would have to say I would bring Brandy. Um, she's just one Brandy album. Oh, well, okay, never say never then. I would bring
Ooh.
Never Say Never.
Okay. Okay. I kind of have. I was like thinking. I was like, I don't really know the Brandy's discography too well, but I was just like, as soon as you said that, I was like, that's. I feel like that's the classic.
Yeah, yeah. Classic
Um,
Brandy.
classic Brandy. The last thing, Rashida, before I'll let you do your plugs and talk about you. What do you want people to take away from your music? Like, the songs that you have that you've released now, and to release further. For new fans, people checking this out, like, what do you want them to kind of listen to in your music, and if you have like kind of a favorite or like favorite song of yours that you've written that you're like, man, this is the Rashida song, like this is my song.
Yeah. So I would have to say that I want people to take away that I'm just honest about what I'm feeling. Like if you want to know me in my music, I'm super honest. And sometimes when you meet me, I can be reserved. But if you ever want to know what's going on in my life, my music is my diary.
Sure.
So I expose it all. And then for songs that are coming up, they just get more detailed. I feel like just about the heartbreak that I'm experiencing, the frustration that I might be experiencing. I just want people to take away that you're not the only one going through something and that we all go through things because sometimes it does feel like you're the only one. So
Yeah.
it's sometimes just comforting to hear like, man, oh, I went through the same thing. And it just gives you hope. If you can see me come out of it, then you'll come out of it too.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I even felt that with some of the music. I even checked out like some older stuff. Like, I was doing my research, trying to be a good interviewer, and I was just like, wow. I was like, there was something about it that I was just like, there's just an honesty in how you write and the kind of lyricism and stuff. And like I said, I might not be entirely familiar with, in terms of background where you come from, but I felt like, even if I didn't, like, I just felt like the lyrics just hit in a certain way that, like, again, I'm not a woman, so like I can't really speak on that aspect of it, but I definitely have been through heartbreak, and I feel those certain emotions too. So I felt like you connected to me in that way, and so again, people checking this out, I highly recommend checking out Richitta. She's great. The music's awesome, and I'm excited for new stuff, which obviously we're gonna segue into. Tell Richitta, tell the people where they can find you out on social media, what you got coming up, and anything else you'd like to kind of give a shout out to.
Okay, so coming up, I will be releasing some more music before the year is out. I'm just trying to decide which song I want next. But I will be putting one out. And then my Instagram is just Richitta. You look it up, Richitta. So very simple. And then my YouTube is Richitta Official. So check out Quit Playing, if the video, if you haven't seen it, because it's fire. And my ladies, you'll feel it, because sometimes we got to tell these men, stop playing with us, period. Um, and then also I'm on Twitter as well. Look me up by Richitta as well. And that's what I have going on so far. But I look forward to connecting with all of you. So just please DM me or comment. I'm always open to talk. If you have any things you want me to cover, songs, I'm up for it.
There we go. Well, again, massive shout outs to Erica. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus. I know Erica's going to watch this, so I don't want her to feel like I was being mean. I love Erica. She's great. Go check out Muddy Paw. But the most important thing, check out Richitta's music. What were you going to say, Richitta?
Oh, I was just saying, Erica is great. Shout out to Erica. She's awesome.
She's the best. So shout outs to Erica. But most importantly, the reason why you guys are all here, go check out Richitta's music. I will leave all of the links in the description where you can find out about her music. Follow her on social media. Also, make sure to follow her on Spotify. I'm almost positive she has music on there, so make sure to give her a follow on there. That's the easiest way you can find out about newest music released to you. So why wouldn't you want to do that? So go check out her stuff. Go subscribe to her YouTube channel. And if you enjoyed this interview, share it, like it, subscribe. Make sure to go tweet at Brandy, because you want to hear Richitta Brandy collab. I know I want to. I want to fulfill that dream of Richitta. So let's make it happen. And thanks, of course, to Richitta for coming on tonight.
Thank you so much.